Hey, who would you talk to? What's going on? It is me, Mike Leopard King Michael. This is legit paranormal news brought to you by legit podcast.com. It is July 5th, 2023. 752023. 7 minus. I'm going to screw it up again. My 5 is 2. I get nothing. I'm getting nothing for the math geeks. David, did you notice anything with the date that would be a number?
Uh,
I didn't. I'm
seven
sorry.
minus 5 is 2.
Yeah, right. Nothing.
Yeah.
Mandy, anything on the number, the date? Do you see anything that's mathematical?
No.
All right, let's get to the news. I am King Michael.
I'm Dreamy David Barr.
I am Machine Mandy.
And now for our top story. David, before we go there, I wanted to do a quick list of it's 13 and a half interesting facts that I found out today. Actual facts. So I like to read those for you. The original Red Riding Hood was forced to eat her grandmother by the wolf. Did you know that?
I've heard that before.
Did you know that? That was in the book. That's how it was originally written. Right? Right?
Some of those old fairy tales are pretty creepy.
That's grim.
Yeah.
Secondly, eventually, there will be more dead people on Facebook than alive. That's creepy. It's a creepy thought, right? That'll bother you. Yep. All right. No, it seems like it might be soon. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Maybe just me. I don't know. 3. An average person walks by 36 murderers in their lifetime.
Oh.
Now, what scares me is joining us is Cyn Shrader.
Hey guys.
Hey, Cyn. Cyn, I'm just catching up with my ridiculous facts. I have dogs that seem like they're going after something, but nothing.
Mike's got hellhounds.
Yes. So second fact was eventually there will be more dead people on Facebook than alive. This new one was an average person walks by 36 murderers in their lifetime. Now, this is why I'm going to stop on that one. Mandy, did you not work in some sort of correctional? All right, so you ruin the average. So you've walked by more than your fair share, which makes it like which one of us has 0, which one of us is like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like the whole 36 by average.
Mike, I went to high school with a serial killer for a year.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but you only get 1 for that.
I know.
All right, you're trying to act like that's gonna get you more points. That's just one person. I know they might have did something crazy, but
I'm one murderer. To the average.
All right, yeah, no, it's not. It's not by bodies, Dave. It's by average murderers. Jeez, you get graphic. If the sun exploded, we wouldn't know for 8 minutes. Hey Siri, set a timer for 8 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
I said it. I said
Is
8.
she gonna talk waste management again?
She said it for 10. No, she said it for 10. All right, maybe it'll go off in 10 minutes. Let's see. We'll find out. 7,000 people die a year from doctors' bad handwriting. Yeah, that's a fact. I like that one. You know when they say complications, stuff like that? It's been whittled down to our average of 7,000 people. Now, if you ever said anything else caused that many deaths a year, it would be like no offense, and I mean any offense to anybody, it'd be like a ribbon, it'd be like a protest. That's a lot of people. For handwriting? Really? 7,000? Really? A year? That's hard to keep up. Like, how do you keep up with that number? All right. It's a little grim, David. Apparently, after 10 minutes of watching yourself in the mirror, your brain gets so bored of your face that you see stuff. And this is wherein lies the Bloody Mary and everything else you've ever done in a mirror.
The psychomantium chamber, which we talked about.
Mandy,
dead people.
We've done this on investigations where you stare into the mirror and you try to see if spirit will appear through the mirror, or your face can change. It's scrying.
All right, but
Scrying.
did you know that it's a fact that the brain itself gets bored of looking at your own face after 10 minutes?
I
That's
don't
like
think mine takes that long.
that's what I'm saying. That's like 8 minutes of overkill. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean maybe 10 seconds tops for me.
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. How long can I stare at my own face? Like, that would be, I do it kind of, I'm doing it now, Dave, in an ironic sort of stupid way, but I'm not. I'm trying to, like, view down. So let's see. My next one. I'm wrapping them up. I'm trying. Dave, you're gonna have to run comments because I can't run comments. I can't read the people's comments. There are about 40 super volcanoes around the world that could kill 1 billion lives. And we are 24,000 years overdue for a volcano eruption of one of those 40. That makes me sleep well. You are more likely to be bitten by somebody in New York than by a shark. That's actually a fact. You could look up the numbers. Yeah.
So Pam Harris says hello and good evening. So
All right. Yeah. I'm sorry, Pam. But that's actually true. It grossed me out when I read it. I was like, yeah, but it makes sense.
I
If
can
you've
see
been
that
there.
happening.
Yeah, you've been there. Dogs like squeaky toys because they mimic screams of their prey. Doesn't that make you feel a little worse when your dog now runs up and grabs a squeaky toy? There is oh boy, here's where you know what, man, I write stuff sometimes and not even I can read it. There is a 1 in 3 chance that police will never identify your killer if murdered in the U.S. That's the overall average, 66% chance they'll catch him. It's not that bad, I think, actually. I think that's a pretty good chance. A lot of those, like,
Mike,
mysteries.
if you were a doctor, your handwriting might kill you.
I would already be dead.
Yeah, you would
already be dead.
You would be here with us.
Yeah, I'd be like the Kevorkian of handwriting. They'd be like, "You gotta stop this guy from filling out pads and stuff." And I'd be like, "Hey, man, I'm trying." That's how I write.
Can read a doctor's handwriting. It's horrible.
Well, they don't even try sometimes. Though. Sometimes they do the Elvis signature, like they're walking away from you. It's like you could make a letter, By the way, the golden poison dart frog is so poisonous it can kill you with one touch. Now, what I found best about that, and the reason I added it to the list, David, is I'm going to read the name of the animal and you read it right back to me. The golden poison dart frog.
The golden poison dart frog.
I almost had you. All right. Next. Human head remains conscious for 20 seconds after decapitation. I didn't think it would last that long. That's a long time. That's another thing that's Dave, that's an overkill. Can we say that's an overkill of time?
We could.
Anyone want to agree to that? Still too long?
Well, it's crazy you say that because then if you watch horror movies, and a lot of times when someone gets their head, decapitated, if you notice they're still talking, but that's in movies. But then you're saying this, so it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know how you do that test.
Yeah, and who would volunteer for it?
Well, it's like when they chop the head off a chicken and the body keeps running at you.
Yeah.
Not that I've done that, but there's an Infectious Groove song about that. Cousin Randy.
A chicken with a head chopped off. Yeah, that's a saying we say all the time. But no. This is a human head.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Who's going? All right, it's decapitated. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Here, you with me, Chuck? You with me, Chuck? We with me, Chuck? 10 seconds. Like, who's doing that test? Or that's probably not how they do it. That's probably not how they do it. All right, wait. Okay. Last two. By age of 18, on average, you have 3,300 weekends left in your life.
What?
That's depressing, right?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
By age of 18. By age of 18, you have an average of 3,300 weekends left in your life. That's
by 18?
Oh, yeah. They say the average age from 18 on, it's 3,300 weekends. That's depressing. Lastly, Dave, before I kick it over to you, and that's I don't know why I got this, but it says roses are gray, violets are gray, tulips are gray, because I'm a dog. Dave, over to you.
All right.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about little kids recalling past lives this week.
Their own?
Yes.
All right.
So I've seen stuff about this. I don't know if it was on like Dateline or 2020 or one of those shows, but this story came up in my feed earlier today, and I thought it was interesting, and it reminded me of those old stories. So 5-year-old Luke Ruhlman claims that he was an African-American woman killed in a fire and reincarnated. And he's been insisting that he was a woman named Pam since he was just 2 years old and started learning how to talk.
Whoa. You Ruhlman?
Yeah.
Then another female, and then somebody named Pam. You went. That's 3 characters. I'm
All right.
lost.
So we have Luke
spell
Ruhlman.
What's
He's
Ruhlman? Spell
He's
it.
a 5-year-old. He's a 5-year-old boy.
Spell his last name.
Ruehlman.
All right. So this is like got to be like somebody from Germany.
No,
Where
I think he's in Ohio. Yeah,
Oh,
he
well.
lives in Ohio.
Germany, Ohio.
So he claims that in a past life he was an African-American woman named Pam.
All right.
Who was killed in a fire.
Pam killed in a fire.
Hmm.
And by you saying that she's an African American woman, I'm guessing that he is not an African American kid.
The article didn't specify, but I would say that's a pretty safe assumption.
That's kind of how it's written, right? That would be the assumption by, I guess, the person trying to write that article. They felt they needed to say that. Okay.
So the young boy's mother, her name is Erica. She starts talking to the local news station that her son claims to be this woman, Pam, in a past life, but the family doesn't know anyone by that name. Okay. So one day, he finally explains to them who Pam was. He turned to his mom and he said, well, I used to be her, but I died and I went up to heaven. And then he says he saw God, and eventually God pushed him back down here, and he was a baby, and his mom named him Luke. That's how he describes being reincarnated.
Wow.
You remember that much?
Well, there's more. So he starts giving his mom full details. He's telling his family that when he was living as Pam, he traveled on a train to Chicago.
How old is he, Dave, again?
At the time that they started researching the story, he was 5, but that was in 2015.
All right. So, but this whole thing went down at the age of 5.
Yeah. So he's a 5-year-old boy, and he's claiming all these things. And the family had never been to Chicago, so he didn't know why he was fixated on Chicago. And then he used to say things like, when I was a girl, I had black hair, or I used to have earrings like that, and point to some earrings and say I had those when I was a girl. So she started looking into these claims by her son, and she learned of a woman named Pam Robinson, who was one of 19 people killed in a fire at Chicago's Paxton Hotel in
Time went off. Sorry, Dave.
We're all dead.
We didn't hear
boom. If the sun
boom.
exploded, we'd have been dead 2 minutes ago.
We're all safe, everybody.
All right,
safe.
we're good. The sun did not explode.
You're all good. Yeah.
So Pam Robinson was one of 19 people killed in a fire at Chicago's Paxton Hotel.
All right, can we time out, please?
Yeah. Okay.
So this kid just starts wheel of fortuning around the house, things that he remembers in the past, like there's a chair there and a thing there, and he's just throwing this at his mom. His mom's just feeding it in. All right. Mandy, I hate to lean on you in this sense, but this idea of a 5-year-old having such vivid memories at this point, not knowing where this story is going to lead. First, I guess everyone's expected to get thrown off by the fact that, one, it's from female to male, right? And then they're making sure that we know that, the girl's African American, so that means they're trying to show that it went literally from a African American female. I got to use all these words I realize now to just get across what I'm trying to say. I can say it in 2 words. And a white, I guess he was like a white cis male. I'm joking. He's just a white male. I don't. Whatever. He's a white kid. We're saying that it switched. So is that like is that the throw off part, Mandy? Like, should I be turned off by that? Am I just stupid?
No, it makes sense why you would be thrown off by that. You would think maybe a male would come back into the child who is living, who's a boy. But sometimes in cases like this, that is not the case. When it comes to reincarnation, someone coming back, it doesn't matter. You could come back a male or a female, so whether you were a male or a female in a past life, it doesn't matter. And there's been lots of reports on this. I mean, they even had a TV show out about this that I have watched a lot, about these children who were claiming to have these past lives. And I mean, it just went on and on and on. And it even got to the point where the children were saying that they were telling their parents, "You're not my parent." It got to that point. They really truly believed that their parents at that time was not their parents. And they were having nightmares and visions and different things happening to them about what had happened to them in their past life, how they passed away. So yeah, I truly do believe, because I am someone who's very spiritual. So I do believe in things like this happening. I do.
Cyn, what's your take on that?
On reincarnation,
And what you just said.
That's a lot, but I kind of agree with her. You can come back as something different. It's a lot out there.
I don't think I have, and I don't think I would want to come back as. That's my. You know what? Isn't that messed up? I guess I don't want to be reincarnated, and I don't want to have been reincarnated. I don't know. I'm using the word completely wrong. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be either way. I don't really care. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? I don't know. Dave, go on. I'm sorry. I digress.
All right. So the Ruhlman family gets connected to a paranormal investigation TV show, which might be the one Mandy's talking about. It's called The Ghost Inside My Child.
Oh yes. Yep.
The producers start investigating Luke's claims. And while they're filming, they show Luke a full page of pictures with different black women in their 30s. One of them was the late Pam Robinson. He was asked to point to Pam, and with no hesitation, he chooses the right woman.
Wow.
So they contact Pam's family to learn more about Pam, and they start discovering there's some strange similarities between Pam and Luke. They share a love of Stevie Wonder. They enjoy playing the keyboard.
Stop. Nope. No. Throw that out. That's admissible in court.
Why?
If you like the keyboard, you like Stevie Wonder. If you like Stevie Wonder, you like the keyboard. And if you like music in general, you like Stevie Wonder. Everyone likes Stevie Wonder and the keyboard when you think about it. No one can sit down on a piano, Dave, in a bar and not go blank, blank, blank. They can't stop themselves. And how do you not love Stevie Wonder? Throw that out.
There are people who don't like Stevie Wonder, Mike. I'm sorry to.
I've never met somebody. I've never met a person tell me they didn't like hearing Stevie. Do you guys like Stevie Wonder when he sings?
Absolutely.
Mandy?
I do.
Dave.
All right, so if you're watching this and you do not like Stevie Wonder,
Yeah.
leave us a note in the comments. Because
What a reason, though.
Mike wants to find someone.
What a reason. With
All right.
a reason. Yeah. It can't be just I don't like Stevie Wonder. That's not fair. Good.
So the Ruhlmans, they start sharing their story. Pam's family declined to be a part of all of this. They just wanted they wanted their privacy and to be left alone.
The problem is, so here's the thing, right? We are looking at this from a side point of view where we all, maybe not all of us, but some of us believe that in reincarnation. We believe, fully in that. And then there's a part of me that thinks, like, if this was back in the 80s, like, that show would be, like, this kid should be on meds. You know what I mean? No,
Yeah.
I'm being dead serious. Like, I don't even know if those stories would get out back in the 80s. They would not listen to them. Like, I don't like.
That's right.
So there's a difference there. So it's like, what had to be going on then too. What, like, now what? That's why I get weirded out by that, because it's just like a time thing.
I don't know. I
Mm.
remember about 10 years ago, like Dateline or 2020 or 60 Minutes, one of those shows did a show about a kid who claimed to be reincarnated, and they investigated all the things the child was talking about, and they were able to link them to a person, and everything matched up. So it's kind of freaky. There are psychologists who have studied this stuff. I know there are books on the subject by some of those psychologists.
So the person has to be dead for how long before usual reincarnation?
I'd say that's an unknown. Who knows?
How long was this one?
23 years, I believe.
I always wondered if they ever
24
did an
years.
average.
Sorry,
Did-
24 years.
have they ever done an average on that?
I don't think so.
people
That would
claiming
be a good
reincarnation?
thing for the math geeks, right?
Yeah. I'd like to know the average years claims, you know what I mean? Between death and reincarnation of any of those type of cases. So Dave, find somebody to get on that. I don't know if we have anyone, but fun to
All right,
know.
we'll recruit some math geeks.
All right, are you good?
I'm good.
All right. Cyn,
Yes. You ready?
what do you have?
Okay. So this is out of my friend Mark's book.
Who's Mark?
Darkest Corner. Mark is the guy that does all the illustrations for me. He's the psychic medium that I love.
Yep,
He's like,
but I mean, is he like Prince?
family.
I mean, he's like Prince. Does he have a last name?
Mark Elliott Foltz.
There you go. That's the way you introduce him, Cyn.
He's
Mark
fabulous.
Foltz. Okay.
He's fabulous. This is from his book, Darkest Corners. Let's see. Glasses are required.
Is this going to be like his like diary? Like, you want to set us up for what kind of book you're about to read an excerpt from? For some of us to get a little nervous.
I want to do this, and then next week I'm going to start telling some of my stories from my book.
So these actual ghost stories, or something like that.
This is actually a legitimate story.
Okay.
I promise. Okay,
All right.
so let's say. Okay, so the English for this doll is the unknown woman of the Seine. If I was French, I would be able to pronounce it, and it's something like Le Canoe de la Seine. So we're just going to kind of go with that.
Mm-mm.
It's
Mm-mm.
also
No.
known-
Wait. That was like a Spanish, French, then almost German, back to Spanish, French voice. Have you never
Well-
done cartoons? You've never
How
done a cartoon?
How about a
Cartoon
little
voice?
Italian then? La Bella Italiana.
Yeah, it's probably Le Bleu. It's probably something like that. It's probably something
Okay.
like that.
All right. So anyway, this person is was approximately 16 years old when she was pulled out of the river in Paris. There were no marks on her at all, no foul play suspected, so they just kind of ruled it a suicide. Now here's
All right.
where it gets interesting.
Dead body pulled out of the river.
Yes.
Because you said they pulled her out of the river. And I immediately thought, did they get her a blanket? What happened next? And then you just said there were no marks on her. I'm thinking, well, what's going on next?
Right.
She's
So
dead, right? All right.
she is dead. She is dead. They
Dave,
ruled it
she's dead.
suicide.
Dave, she's dead.
She's dead.
Yeah.
I can
Hey,
start
Mandy,
that.
you got that, Mandy?
Got it.
We're on the same page. Sorry, son.
So they gave three versions, because they never really figured out who she was, right? Ever. One version that they brought up, they thought maybe she was a young model from Paris that died in 1875 from tuberculosis. Another version was that she was the daughter of a German mask manufacturer. The third and most accepted version of this particular story is probably because of the romantic lines of this story, the pathologist in the morgue thought she was so beautiful that he had to make a death mask of her.
Oh.
From there, after 1900, so many copies were made of this death mask that they would show up in artists' homes, either as a statue on the table or a sculpture on the wall. And you can actually still find her on Etsy, eBay. She's out there for lots of money. You can get a bronze one for over $600 bucks.
Whoa, time out.
Yeah.
You're telling me some horrendous stuff, and then you just went all QVC on me. Like, I'm not even buying what you're selling so far, Cyn. I was terrified. If you want to know my notes, I wrote young model, why always a model? And then I wrote mask maker's daughter. And then I had to write 1900s death mask. And then I drew the smiley face, like, you know, the keep on trucking face, whatever it is. And I'm thinking that's kind of the same idea, but now yours is just more morbid. But then you started to sell stuff, and I had to go, whoa. Anybody want to say anything on that? Dave, want to say anything on that?
Call now and we'll double your death masks. That's right. 2 death masks for the price of 1.
What?
That's $19.95 shipping and handling.
I didn't hear all that. I'm sorry.
He said,
What was it?
he just did the old order now, get 2 death masks.
Oh, okay.
One.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Cyn.
No. So she inspired lots of literary work. She was, they used her in a lot of arts other than the sculptures and the wall sculptures. They would have pictures of her. They would, you know, they even had a ballet that was made for this particular girl.
What's a valet?
What's that?
What's a valet?
A ballet.
A ballet.
Ballet, yeah.
I thought you said they made a valet. A valet is somebody that brings like a wrestler to the ring. I'm thinking, what's a valet? Is that a new word? Maybe I don't know. We're talking French. It could be over my head.
Well, ballet is French. Yeah.
Ballet. All right.
Ah, you're tough tonight. You're tough.
Yeah.
So, all right. So
the jerkometer is going to go up a quarter of a star. If you keep
It can't go up much more, Dave. It's going to hit.
I know, you're at 4. You're going for 5.
We'll see what I can do.
So this unknown woman, she was taken with, back up. So they took her face.
Mm-hmm.
It was so pleasing to look at, right? 3 people. There was a Norwegian toy maker and 2 physicians, one an American and one was Austrian Czech. They took this girl's face to make a mannequin, a specific mannequin.
Huh.
I've seen her. I've actually worked on her, and a lot of people have. Most people know her.
CPR dummy.
Techniques, yes. This is Rescue Annie, or the CPR Annie. She's now considered a symbol of life to millions of people in the world that have learned the life-saving techniques, and to those she has helped save from unnecessary death. She has also been called the most kissed face of all time.
Huh.
So, anybody want to start before I do? Mandy, anyone you want to say about that? What you just heard?
I find that is interesting. That's just something you don't think about. You know what I mean? When you see a mannequin, you don't think the backstory on a mannequin. That is interesting to me. It really is.
Dave?
I will never be able to look at a CPR dummy the same again. And it's creepy. I'm not giving those things mouth to mouth. I'm going to use the little thing you put over and squeeze the ball.
Yep.
Get the air flowing.
So it's really gross. It's not like it's funny that you think it's awesome, because I think it's gross. Like, I think it's gross that we've all been kissing the face of a face that was stolen. Although, you know what? Honestly, at the end of the day, if they said we're gonna rip your face off, but it's gonna save all these lives, they'd be like, "Go ahead, dude. That'd be worth it, right? That's gonna be a famous face. Like, I'm gonna be CPR Mike. Like, fucking hey, I don't mean to swear, but I would do it." And then I was thinking they were going to stamp the face into sugar cookies. I don't know. I actually wrote down sugar cookies. Like why I thought that was going to be what you were going to say. I have no idea, but I'm way off.
You know,
Death
there might be tins made
Death
from
mask Halloween cookies. There you go.
Yeah.
So CPR dummy sugar cookies on Halloween are actually this torn face of a Paris woman.
Parisian. Yep, 16-year-old drowning victim.
So they think they're CPR cookies, but actually they're face cookies, Dave.
Right.
Mandy, wait, Cyn, are you done?
Yeah.
All right, Mandy, what do you got?
What do I got? So there is an article here with 24 cryptid stories here from all over, even from my neck of the woods. So the first one here is Lake Utopia in New Brunswick. Apparently, there's a monster in the lake. Old Ned, they call him, and sightings go back into local folklore. My grandfather claimed to have seen it as a boy, serpent-like and scaly and swimming very quickly across the lake.
Mandy,
Yes.
are you sure it's not Nessie? I want to make sure. I want to make sure I didn't send it to you the wrong way.
You know what? All these people are seeing these sightings in different lakes, and it's almost like the same thing as the Nessie that's been seen over in Scotland.
Old Nettie.
They're calling him Old Ned.
I guess, right? Why not? If there's a old Ness, why can't there be Old Ned? Go ahead.
Yeah, why not? But it says that you can only imagine hearing that story, how the 6-year-old thought the grandfather would have felt back then at 6 years old. It must have been like him going back into the 1920s, going back into the 1920s when it was seen in the lake.
You ever hear 1920s and think that you were alive then? Does that happen to anybody else? You ever hear an old time? You go, yeah, no, I wasn't. I just assumed that I was. I'm sorry.
Well, I think, you know what? Some people have old souls. Like there's a lot of younger people who are very mature. But to me, I just think they have an old soul. You know what I mean?
I seem to think most young people drive like maniacs. Like maniacs. Like they gotta get to the light so bad. They can't wait to get around you to get to the red light. You know what? Nothing makes an old guy happier than some young guy flying around us to get to the red light and just stop. And just enjoy the moment. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Your list.
You're right. So the next one here is the Big Muddy Monster in Murfreesboro, Illinois. Murfreesboro, Illinois, near Southern Illinois University, has repeated sightings and smellings of the Big Muddy Monster. Many believe it may be related to, if not the same as, the Creve Coeur Monster sighted near St. Louis suburb. This is an animal often known as a Sasquatch.
Wait, Creek what?
Creve Coeur?
Core. Are you saying core? Core?
Yeah. These words.
Dave, I thought we were going to get shut off of that one. I really did. I honestly, God didn't say these. She said core the whole time, and she kept repeating. I'm going, what? Is no one else hearing me? All right. So it's like a Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, it was Sasquatch. They're saying it's like another animal such as Sasquatch in size and its appearance, but with a distinct skunky smell. Those who believe the two cryptids are the same, that the animal swam down the Big Muddy River in Murfreesboro to the Mississippi River, and then north to the Mississippi River, by which it swam to a bend in the river near Creve Coeur. So, I mean,
guys, just so you know, she's going to continue through this, but
I am. I know I'm probably not.
I sent you some choppy, like elaborate. like cryptid descriptions, because I figured have her read something for her first time that's going to be extremely difficult, and let's see how she goes from there. So we're off to a pretty good start. You're hanging in, right? So, all right, what was next? What's
You're
next?
taking Mike's abuse.
It's not abuse. It's just like, just go ahead.
Well, in law enforcement, when I would go into roll call, we'd have meetings, and the lieutenants and director, they would love to give me the book to read, and it had the most difficult words that were just mixed all together. It was like, what is this? And they'd love to do it to me all the time. Put me on the spot, and I'm like, oh man. So I'd have to read this big old book.
You know what? And it continues on for you. Yeah, I'm sorry. You keep going with those 24 of the most. It's 24 of the most rare cryptids. Like they actually have to say that these are the rare ones.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, they get better.
The Bunny Man.
You don't say.
Northern Virginia. It's known as the Bunny Man. Okay, but they said it's not really considered to be a cryptid, or it could be a ghost story. One story is that he was a man who escaped a state facility and lived in the forest and wore rabbit pelts to stay warm. The other is the same, except there is an experiment that goes horribly wrong. Like all good cryptid tales at the facility, and he becomes half man and half bunny. Sorry.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Dave, speaking as someone from the Northeast, with our Northeast bias, do you not think that we're talking about a redneck who hunts rabbits wearing a coat? Is that where you're at? I'm not trying. I guess I'm being wrong, but
I was
whatever.
thinking a Christmas Story.
Why don't you picture right now, though, some guy coming out with his shotgun, he kills rabbits, and he's just making this elaborate jacket that gets worse, and he's known as Bunny Man?
He's like the Leatherface of rabbit killers.
We had a guy that lived down the street from us. They had to knock down his yard because he collected garbage and junk. His nickname growing up as a kid was, I knew it as Joe Sardine. Sardine, because everything in his yard was crammed in. I didn't even realize that it was a nickname as a little kid. I thought his last name was Sardine. So, sorry, go ahead, Mandy. What name is next?
Oh, this is really okay. The Rougarou, I believe I'm saying that right. Rougarou, Louisiana. Here in Louisiana is a local cryptid known as the Rougarou, which has many spellings and derives from the French loup garou, which literally means werewolf. Right up my alley. I love stuff like this. Okay.
Werewolf?
Also, relatively, someone across the French-speaking world, like so many things, it appears to have gained particular in the swamps of Louisiana.
Werewolves down in Louisiana, we're saying?
That's what they're saying.
So, wait a minute. You said you like Cyn. Say hi to Christy, please.
Hi, Christy. Hey, I hope you're feeling better.
Why would you like werewolves?
Well, I grew up on a lot of folklore stories and the cryptids, and I believe there's things out there yet to be discovered or captured. Or I think the universe is really big, and there's just room for lots of different things. Do I think a lot of things could be just stories handed down from back years and years ago? Possibly, but you got to think the stories come from somewhere. There has to be somewhat of a truth to some of the stories.
Let me ask again, though. What do you love about werewolves?
I just think that I love horror movies, so I always love
Would
watching.
you want a werewolf around you?
Huh?
Would you want a werewolf anywhere around you?
Hell no.
Around anybody you know? Around anyone you know?
No, but the fact that they're scary, they're
Yeah,
scary get out, but I just find it fascinating, the stories that there's werewolves, half man, half werewolf, growing up watching these horror flicks on the werewolves. Werewolf in London was one of my favorites as a kid growing up.
that was fantastic.
Loved it.
Wait a minute. Cyn, would you want werewolves to be real?
Aren't they?
I like that, Cyn.
Well, wait a minute, Dave. Would you want werewolves to be real?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Why? I guess the question for all three of you is why? Why? Really fast. Why? Why? Because you know what? If you're asking me, do I want to know if there's these werewolves that run around, like werewolves that can run around, really run around on this planet? Do I want them there? No. I would say no. 10 out of 10
Why
times.
not?
Why would I want them around? Dude, what would I do if a werewolf came running in the house right now, Dave? I can only do so much. Like, seriously, you put things now on the map, the risk map of life, I wasn't ready for. You can't put something like that. You just don't throw a piece on. You don't throw checkers on a chessboard. Sorry. Mandy, go ahead. What's the next? That's the next.
Well, if you get scratched and survive, you get to be a werewolf.
That's another thing, though. I don't want to live forever. That's a curse. I don't want to sign up for any of those. I want my time and I'm out.
Then we'll get you a silver bullet. You can write a prescription for a silver bullet.
We'll keep you chained up somewhere.
Throw raw meat outside. I don't know. Go ahead. What's the next?
Okay, the next one here is the Lake Worth monster. Lake Worth, Texas, is the wild North Tarrant County named the Lake Worth monster, supposedly caught on cameras in 1969. Never saw it myself, but it caused a big scare in the area.
From 1969 footage. I can only imagine what that looks like. Seriously. I mean, that's awful. That's probably a really bad footage. I would like to look that up now. It's called the Lake Worth monster.
The Lake Worth monster.
All right, I'll look that one up. 1969. All right, what's next?
Okay, now this one is also one of my favorites. Just one. Grassman, the Ohio Grassman. Cahuga Valley National Park has a giant horned called the Grassman, and he has 3 toes for some reason. I really hope he's more of the Swamp Thing than Bigfoot. The reason why I say he's one of my favorites because I've had experiences.
What?
Yeah, I've had experiences right here in where I live. Yes.
With Grassman?
So have you seen the Ohio Grassman?
I personally did not see him, but I have been on did a podcast on some guys that do podcasting, and they're called From the Shadows.
Yep.
And they do big podcast on cryptids, Sasquatch, and the Ohio Grassman and all that. And I was on there one time to tell my story. What had happened.
So, but in other words, one of you saw or seen the Ohio Grassman.
I've never seen him, but I had something huge thrown at me, at my husband and I, when we were over in an area where these things would have been seen. And here at my place, my neighbor who's down the road actually captured a weird sound, and it scared him so bad that he always sits out by the fire with a shotgun. It scared him so bad that he went in his house and would not come back out. And at the same time this man was hearing those noises, we had weird noises going on down here that we captured on our security cameras. And in the morning I woke up, my neighbor from way down the road sent this video, and he actually recorded this sound. And I actually sent it over to my friends who are into Bigfoot, and they said that is the typical howling of the Ohio Grassman. And I was freaking out because I'm like, what is he doing? I'm in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by cornfields and woods. I mean, but there's not like a lot of woods. It's more cornfields than anything. And what's he doing?
I can't believe that you like, we're around the Ohio, like it's the Ohio Grassman. I mean, Dave's my Grassman. Like, you know what I mean? But it's the Ohio Grassman, right? It's made of grass, from what I saw. It looked like the Grinch, but more grassy. Am I right? Am I right in my assessment? Yeah, Lil?
Yeah, I got a picture of the Lake Worth monster.
He's got an awful smell. I'm going to tell you, the stench they talk about is...
Dave? Oh. I thought you were talking about Dave. I didn't know you were going on with the story. I thought that was
Yeah, Mike can smell me from North Providence.
I said, what the heck is that about? How does she know Dave doesn't sound great? Just because he lives down at the old station still. He had to pack his stuff up.
It's pretty
Dave.
humid in here, you know. You guys
got
like
it?
shut off the AC and everything. It kind of sucks now.
Yeah, it's because we shut it down. And you're still, Mandy, go on with the next name while he looks for this.
Okay. We got the Goat Man.
Who?
The Goat Man.
Goat Man.
Known as Prince George's. Okay, he's known to be seen in Prince George's County, Maryland. A lover's lane type of cryptid that reportedly attacks parked cars with an axe. An escaped experiment from the local USDA or University of Maryland laboratories.
I don't believe it. I don't
Nope.
believe it. You know why?
Yeah. Why do you?
You don't want to know why. I know that. I know that sound. I'm very familiar with that sound you just made. I'm like, do you want to hear why? Go ahead. Tell me why. You're gonna tell me why anyway. You gotta tell me why. Because I just don't think a goat man would use an axe. Dave, he's got a goat head. Dave,
Yeah, he could butt him. He's got
horns.
No axe needed.
Well, it's interesting to hear this story because the only goat man that I've heard of in the paranormal field is the actual goat man that's said to be something demonic. So I'm a little confused over this little story here.
Could there be two cryptids trying to use the same name? Goat man? I mean, Goat Man?
Must be.
You remember when Snap came out with Whoop, There It Is, Dave? And then there was Woot, There It Is? And the two songs were actually on the radio at the same time in pop culture and fought each other? You guys don't remember that? I'll come up with another song later. But, go ahead. What are we getting?
Okay. In Newport, Arkansas, White River Monster. In Arkansas, there is what is known as the White River Monster, a large creature reportedly first spotted off the banks of the White River as far back as the Civil War. It's big, scaly, fish-type thing about 12 feet long with a single horn on its head that supposedly sank a river boat or two.
I'm confused. We're talking about the residents of Newport, Virginia?
Arkansas.
Arkansas, I mean?
Yeah.
This is the residents.
It just says Newport, Arkansas.
No. Is this a cryptid or is this just the people?
Well, I gotcha. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, I waited. It took a while. I was not going to give up on it, though. I'll stay with it until someone else figures it out. Damn it, because I'm not going anywhere. Sorry. Thank you.
That's funny.
Just a joke. Dave got it like 10 minutes ago, I think. Right, Dave? Did you?
What's that?
Never mind.
No, I was trying to share a picture of the Lake Worth monster. I found the picture from like 1969.
Well, bring it up then.
I tried to.
Send it to me through Messenger, and I'll pull it up.
All right.
I'm sorry, I mean, good.
Okay, now this is interesting to me, this next one, only because my mother was born and raised in Florence, Kentucky, okay? Although this is Christian County, Kentucky. Hopkinsville Goblins. I grew up in Kentucky and heard stories about the Kelly Green Men, aka Hopkinsville Goblins. In 1955, two families were terrorized by aliens or goblins or something. They were assumed to be aliens, and while they are called the Kelly Green Men, their skin was actually gray. There is now a festival held in Kelly, Kentucky about these little monsters.
I gotta be honest, I'm so upset with Dave right now because I just had to put myself through a lot of work to try to get that photo to come up and all this stuff. And it's basically like, it looks like a fuzzy Muppet. Like
it does.
It looks like I don't mean to interrupt, but you got to see what he sent me because
you said you wanted to see the picture from.
I know, but I didn't think it'd be this silly. Look at this. That's it. That looks like Grimace like getting a McShake, or that could be, you know, the big Muppet that came out with the big nose that was always had to be a guy in a full body suit. I forget what his name was. Had the horns. Was the janitor at one time. But like, look at that. I don't know. What do you guys think of it?
It's like a blob.
Looks like a plume of smoke to me, to be honest with you.
I can't.
You guys should never ever go in a lunar capsule up to space and be asked to describe what you see below. The two of you just were like, "That's a blob. That's it's like." They'd be like, "What do you guys see?" Well, it looks like a globe. Cyn, what do you see? Cyn?
Yeah, I looks like a white Bigfoot kind of thing.
Huh.
All right, Dave. I mean, I don't see a body. I don't know. That's disappointing.
Maybe
That's like that was like going into what's his face's the mobster's cell. That big thing with what's his name? Come on, help me, guys. The guy. Yeah, but it was done by what's his name? The one who just puts himself. He's got the mustache. Come on,
Geraldo.
There he is, Geraldo Rivera.
This is Geraldo Rivera.
Oh, what a horrible show that was. What would be next, Mandy?
Okay. In Oklahoma, there is a cryptid known as the Oklahoma octopus.
They get very creative with these names.
They do. It says, we're all about some Bigfoot here in Oklahoma. What with a festival and all. But my personal favorite is the terrifying menace that is the Oklahoma octopus. That's all I got for that one.
Is it like an octopus that wears like a cowboy hat and, you know, yells
they didn't
slurs?
really get too much on it. That's actually the first time I've ever heard of the Oklahoma octopus.
You know, I'm gonna guess that it looks like an octopus, right? Anybody else want to throw that in the hat in there to kind of figure this one out? And they didn't say octopus man, right? So that's leads me to believe it's not an octopus man. So where do you find though an octopus in Oklahoma? I'm not very familiar with Oklahoma. How many oceans and stuff do they have in Oklahoma? Anybody? None, right? None.
None.
There's no oceans there. Okay. So where would an octopus be in Oklahoma? Isn't that a weird place for an octopus to be, Oklahoma? Right?
Mm-hmm.
If I had to think of one last place to put an octopus right now, it might be Oklahoma if you think about it. If we had to write it down, I'll write it down. What would be next?
Okay, so here's a story that is also known that I heard a lot growing up as a kid. This was actually I'll just say this was a house that was nearby where I grew up in the country. So this one is this is in Kirtland, Ohio. Okay, but they were spotted over in other areas in Ohio, not just in Kirtland, Ohio. Melon heads. Okay, I grew up hearing stories about this, and there's pretty scary stories. So it says, growing up, we always heard stories about the melon heads. That lived in the woods between Kirkland and Chardon, Ohio. The story was there was a doctor who lived in the woods and somehow acquired a bunch of children, possibly from a mental hospital, and performed experiments on them that caused their heads to become bubbleless. And this happened one night. The children revolted and burned down the doctor's house, and they now roam the woods looking for human contact. I heard a kind of a different story. The story I heard was a little different, but similar.
What was what you heard?
Well, the story that I heard, there was a family of these people that lived in a house, and they didn't want to be bothered. Whether it was something that the way they were just made, but they didn't. People were kind of mean. They would, go up and down by their house, wanting to get them to draw them out of their home. And the family would. The father would chase the people up the driveway, with the shotgun.
And a melon head.
Yes. This is true. I think it's more on a.
I'm confused. Is because again from the Northeast, is does melon mean inbred? Is that what you guys are trying to say? And it's just a kind word to say it? Dave, is that what they mean by the word?
I don't know. I'm thinking of the guy from the Goonies.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then he's like, chunk
Yes.
chocolate.
Yeah, yes.
Maybe you're that guy.
Perfect.
But they're called melon heads, which is a delicious, one of my favorite candies.
It is a good candy. I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, I forgot about that candy. Yeah, you're right.
Love those.
But yeah, that story was around here. I heard that story growing up.
You know, I tried to throw you a bunch of different curveball cryptids. Little did I know that you would have an attachment to just about every one. Did I know that I would throw it to the person, Dave, that would be like, oh yeah, I know that one, but I know a different story. What do you mean you know a different story? I didn't even know those stories existed. What do you mean you know a different one? All right. Cyn, what do you got to wrap up?
My books are available on Amazon, you guys. So come buy some.
It's Cyn Shrader Hill, author. Cyn Shrader Hill, author. You have to do the whole thing. If you don't do the whole thing, I'm telling you, you'll end up with a different person. I'm like the only person that you don't get like a different name, like a different face, if you don't put it in exactly the thing. Dave, what do you want to wrap up with?
Facebook.com/InTheDreamTime. That's my page. I've been researching some stuff that I'll be posting on there, like people making soundscapes out of their dreams and things like that. There's some fascinating stuff going on.
All right, Mandy, what would you like to say to wrap up?
If you're not following me already, go over and check us out. We're on all social media, Ghost Sisters. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and also you can go and follow me on Intuitive Medium Mandy.
And then you wonder why I nicknamed you Mandy the Machine. Did you see the way you just shot that out? Did you see that? Did anybody else see that? It was like, here it is. All right, I guess that's what it is then. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, all right. You don't have to. All right, I got it. All right. Let's see. July 21st through the 23rd, Block Island Ghost Tours is doing the Paranormal Party Weekend. You can book on blockislandghosttours.com. You could also book the trip on indirectly on our site, legitpodcast.com. Tomorrow we have 2 shows on, I believe. We have Legit Paranormal Clips at 8:05, and then we have Legit Paranormal 101 at 9:05. Next will be Sunday, and I don't know who Buddy has, but I messaged that guy, the co-director of MUFON. I can't remember his name. I want to say Alan, but I'm not sure if that's right. I don't think it is.
Wasn't it Shane?
Shane. Damn it. You know what? And I'm trying to be honest, and I'm not dissing him anything. I can't remember his name, and it's my fault. I keep wanting to call him Alan for some reason. Shane. But I want to bring him back for something. I don't know what I want to do. We could bring him on the news. I think it would be good to have Shane do a little report. If we can get Shane to do a little report on the news, our little tongue-in-cheek news here, that'd be pretty good. So, and he's got a great beard. Have you seen his beard? The whole setup that he's got the bald head with the beard. It's like, I'm so jealous. The guy was so jealous. Awful. But that's it. No one's got anyone else to say anything? Going around last one. All right, let me wrap up. So for Cyn Shrader Hill, author. For Mandy the Machine, for Dreamy David Barr. It is me, Michael B. King, Mikey Elders was Legit. Paranormal News brought to you by Legit Podcast.com. Tomorrow night, 2 shows, 8:05, 9:05, 9:05.